regardless. Elsewhere, Michigan's Jim Harbaugh. Sure are a lot of rumors cropping up around him. And speaking of the NFL head coaching carousel, this is now a yearly occurrence, really, the offseason and Jim Harbaugh and whether or not he's going to, be lured back to the professional landscape. Obviously, last year there was a lot of buzz about him possibly going back to the league. And, you got done losing to TCU. And here recently he talked about, the future in Ann Arbor and certainly appeared, judging it generally, that, it was a statement, if you wanted to take it that way, that he would be back and there's not going to be any of this kind of, is he in, is he out? Well, if you were one of those people that, took it as, Harbaugh's, he made a statement, he's going to be here, everything, they're going to keep building this thing. Well, apparently, the Panthers are quite interested as they could be looking at going back to the college head coaching, although different situation than Matt Rule, obviously, because Harbaugh's already got some skins on the wall in the NFL. But reports out of Charlotte are that the Panthers are interested. There's been some talking there, and apparently the Broncos, another team that could be kicking the tires as well on Jim Harbaugh. So what are your thoughts on Harbaugh, Michigan, the NFL game, and the dance that we're doing once again?
I think eventually he's going to go back. I mean, he was just this close to winning a Super Bowl and didn't. So I think that probably still burns a little bit for him. I know that he maybe wants to win a college national title, but that game is changing a lot. Maybe Harbaugh doesn't want, would rather, look, if I'm going to have free agency and all this other stuff, I'd rather just deal with it on the up
salary
and
cap.
I'd rather just deal with it on the up and up. Here's the other thing to keep in mind about Tepper and then now the Broncos. The Broncos are essentially owned by Walmart now. That's the Waltons own the Broncos. And so that is a family that, I don't know if you know this, has a lot of money. They have a lot of money. So they are going to be very competitive in what they do. And if they want Jim Harbaugh, it's going to be Jim Harbaugh. Same with David Tepper. I tend to think, though, that he might lean towards letting Steve Wilkes have another go at it because he's done such a good job down the stretch here. And he did not, have, a good chance in Arizona. So he has not a fair shake in his career as a head coach. So this would be an opportunity to give him one. So I think Denver and Harbaugh makes a lot of sense because they need someone with an offensive mind who can shake the cobwebs off of Russell Wilson because they're not getting out of that deal either. I mean, Russell Wilson's their quarterback for 2 or 3 years now. So they're going to have to deal with that because they can't just eat that money. So I think Harbaugh would be a good choice for them if they made it.
Yeah, apparently Tepper contacted him personally, and they've had a discussion, although the reports don't indicate, how far those discussions went, or how in-depth or anything like that. But, it's something to keep an eye on, and, again, it felt like he had recently made a comment that you could take as, I'm going to be around at Michigan, but there's also the way that he phrased it that you could say, like, he didn't really promise anything. And so it's just, eye of the beholder. But as of right now, there's at least a couple of teams that are looking at Jim Harbaugh after that loss to TCU, and that's going to be something that I think it's, as long as he's head coach in Michigan, this is going to be an every year thing. I don't know how you stem it from not happening because there seems to be no undying interest on his part either. This was coming out of the